would still stop. A lot of guys wouldn't even get out of the van. You know, then it got to where nobody stopped. You know, of course they got airplanes.
Right.
Down the freeway. You know, but that passion where you went to another guy's shop and looked at what he was doing and talked about him, enthusiasm, and all it faded from the upper end of.
I think it's lost.
Mio used to stop.
I think it's lost through about the whole ranks nowadays.
Yeah.
The Buicks have a spoiler, a chin spoiler, a factory chin spoiler. Okay, those people say, we got to have one. They call engineering, they call us, they're going to get somebody to design it. We're going to make spoilers and get them on the cars before the second or third day or something.
Yeah.
So they send a design drawing, and it's part of it is like from an S10 pickup. You could use part of it.
Yeah.
So we make a mold, we make the parts, and this is a thrash.
Took that spoiler off that S10 out front, didn't we?
I think we did.
The blue and silver one.
So we make the molds, make this, and talking about leaving them in the mold for 3 days, it's like
Heat gun.
Heat gun. You know, need to be flexible anyway. Work it out of it.
Yeah.
So they called and they said, well, there was like 5 or 6 factory cars. For Bonnett, Buddy Baker.
Alice was Buick.
Anyway, there's 5 or 6 of them. They want them painted the color of the car, so these guys can put them on, jam on there. So we get the color codes and everything. We paint them things. Well, you know, we're running tight on time, so they said we're going to send them on a Piedmont Airlines plane to Daytona, and this is like at a certain time. We put them in a van.
Yeah.
Green and white van. I believe Robbie and Gobby took them.
I took them.
You took them and drove out on the runway. And the passenger plane waited while he drove out on the runway.
No.
I forgot.
No way.
You've never seen a passenger plane
Waiting for a van full of
I
nose
don't know who
parts.
did that.
All right, yeah, your story's cooler than mine. So.
And I had to cut them in half down the middle with a sawzall at the last minute.
Get him in the trunk. Whoa.
I run in the hangar and cut it in half. I took my sawzall he told me, take your sawzall just in case. I ran out the door with it. Was about new. My sawzall was about new. Throw in the truck with me.
Wow.
Yeah, we run in the building and out of the building.
Going to Daytona.
And then they wouldn't let none of them run them after they got down there. But that was okay, you know, what the shit.
Wow.
Neil Bonnett walks in his shop and he says, I want to help you. He said, I want to help you with your car. So Bobby said, hell, he was desperate for help, you know, and he said his crew was all down and everything because they'd been running for it. So he says, well, okay, let me show you. And so he gives him some cylinder heads to fit the valve spring. He shows him how to shim them and all that. And he said, hell, he comes back in a little bit and he's doing a really nice job. So he said he works with him all night. He said next morning about, 7 o'clock, he said, well, I got to go to work now. I'll see you this evening. And he was working as a boilermaker somewhere there in Birmingham. So he leaves. He said that evening he's back again. Helps him all night build his motors. So then he helps him for like 3 weeks or something, and they get to running better. They don't have any motor trouble, and they're running good, and the guys like him and everything. So Bobby told him one day, he said, man, you've really helped me an awful lot. He said, but I don't have any money. He said, well, let me tell you, if you ever get a chance where you got a second car somewhere or something, I'd like to drive it. He said, well, it wasn't no time. He makes a mistake, and he promised 2 promoters, one in
Maryville.
Richmond, Virginia.
Maryville, Tennessee.
I don't
remember
know.
where.
Two different states. He promised two different people he would be there. So he says, he said, you're going to get to drive one of them. So he calls the promoter and says, look, I can't come. I had to mix up my numbers, but I'm going to send Neil Bonnett. It's my car, my equipment, my people, but Neil's going to drive, Neil Bonnett. And this guy says, Neil who? And he says, so they put that on the car.
Yeah, Neil who?
And, I've seen that in magazines.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Neil goes down there, wherever it was. You remember where it was?
I don't remember the
Somewhere
track.
in Virginia, anyhow. Bobby goes where he's got to run. He runs, he gets through with the race. He calls down there, asks the promoter, you know, how'd he finish? What happened? And he said the guy is so excited. He's just won't tell him. He says, oh, it's great, we got to have it back. It's just wonderful inside. He said he was set on the pole qualifying, won his heat race, gets in the race, maybe inverted the field or something, comes through the back, got that little spin out, goes to the back again, comes again, wins the race. And he said the crowd just went wild, that they were just ecstatic, and he wants the guy back no matter what. And so he said then, you know, he run my stuff, you know, pretty consistently till he got a cup ride, Sunday ride.
So he won like 160 races for
Yeah.
Really?
before he moved on. I never had any idea it was that. That's what Bobby told us.
But he was very pleased with it. He said, but man, the guy would come work all night on my stuff and then go to work
all day,
all day somewhere else and come back. He said he wasn't that tough. He would work all night, but then he'd sleep in the morning.
Yeah.
Tex Powell, what did he do? He's one of the greats in NASCAR. Not from the standpoint of a NASCAR driver. When you say great, NASCAR greats, everybody thinks driver, but you know, guys like Tex Powell and Pete Wright, and you know, a lot of those guys, Bill Blair, they were greats in the, you know, mechanicking end and the fabricating end and the building and designing of the cars. And Tex Powell took the T10 transmission and basically redesigned it and turned it into what was known as the T101 and then the T101A, and there's versions of the T101A that are still being used today. Tex Racing back in the day was you know, gears, transmissions, he's a really amazing, really cool guy, quite a brilliant individual when it comes to, when you look at what he's done in racing, who he's worked with, the different things he's been involved with through his career, and he's a relatively humble guy. He won't tell you that stuff right away. You got to kind of pick it out of him a little bit at a time, but he's been involved in some really great, amazing stuff, and some stuff that's made history either quietly or publicly.